Welcome to Prime Edition. I'm Doreen Arange. Lucimora is our sign language interpreter. And our calls for reconciliation and forgiveness dominated the annual National Prayer Breakfast in Nairobi, with President William Ruto apologizing to Tanzania, Uganda and Kenya if he had wronged them. The apology came in the wake of a summon by guest preacher Ricky Ellen Bolden, who challenged the government to apologize to the young people, adding their call for good governance ought to be respected. Ruto's apology to neighboring Uganda and Kenya comes against a backdrop of a social media tiff among citizens in the East African community, triggered by the deportation of Kenyan activists from Tanzania.
So we praise you and we lift you, God, and we welcome you, Lord.
Wednesday morning in Kenya's capital, Nairobi. Members of Parliament, top government officials and foreign diplomats gathered for the 22nd annual National Prayer Breakfast meeting under the theme Rise and Rebuild. The day's sermon was delivered by guest preacher and American motivational speaker Ricky Allen Bolden.
When we're talking about relationships and we're talking about really rebuilding relationships, wouldn't it be beautiful if leaders would stand up and say to our Gen Zs, we had you arrested, and we know that had to be traumatizing, and we're sorry.
It was a sermon that focused on reconciliation and rebuilding relationships, with Bolden challenging leaders to listen to the concerns by young people calling for better governance.
Gen Zers are crying for. They're crying for the right to be adults because they are. They've gone to college. They've buying their own house. They're getting married. They're adults.
Perhaps taking cue from the day's sermon, President William Ruto asked for forgiveness from the Kenyan youth.
To our children, if there is any misstep, we apologize. To our neighbors,
he would further extend an apology to the neighboring East African countries of Uganda and Tanzania.
Our neighbors from Tanzania, if we have wronged you in any way, forgive us. Our friends from Uganda, if there is anything that Kenyans have done that's not right, we want to apologize if there is anything.
The apology seemingly aimed at quelling a diplomatic showdown following an online spat with the East African region following the deportation of Kenyan activists from Tanzania. Annual National Prayer Breakfast has once again served as a mirror and a compass for the nation. And as the country navigates turbulent times, leaders have been reminded of the power of humility, unity, and a shared vision for the future. Kamche Menza for Prime Edition, Nairobi.